Okay. So the work we do here together, I heard from C, is for yourself and others. Very few people are willing to do what we do, to show up day after day, week after week, and do these practices, because it's not, maybe not super fun, but I think it's helpful. So thank you for doing that work. Okay, so we're gonna start with Dalai Lama, and what does he have to say today? The way to examine how thoughts and emotions arise in us is through introspection. It is quite natural for many different thoughts and emotions to arise. When we leave them unexamined and untamed, this leads to untold problems, crises, suffering, and misery. This is why we need to adopt the conscious discipline we spoke of earlier. In order to reduce the power of a negative emotion like anger or hatred, we need to encourage its antidote, which is love and compassion. Okay, so with that in mind, let's get to the physical practice. Taking your seat. So what did I hear from Dalai Lama? I heard that we're using introspection to observe our own thoughts and feelings. And when I feel anger and hatred, what he is suggesting is that I find a way to move from anger and hatred to love and compassion. I find it very important to remember that an unacceptable action is still an unacceptable action. I can develop an understanding and compassion for the action, but there is no reason to accept an unacceptable action. Okay, so sitting up tall, bringing your awareness to your feet, lifting the toes, lifting the heels. Slowly bringing the mind, the thoughts, and the emotions into the physical body and into this present moment, instead of hanging out in the past or in the future. Often the past is like depression and the future can be anxiety. We want to be right here. We want to spend some time in the past to learn, to make better plans for the future. But most of the time, we want to be right here, right now. This is where life happens. And then if you want to bring your awareness to your sitting bones, feel those two sturdy, stable sitting bones, and they help you day after day, week after week. Maybe place your hand on your lower belly. Notice how the stomach is, or how your belly is expanding into your hand on the inhale. And then slowly releasing back towards your spine on the exhale. My teacher talks about the pit of the belly. It's like 2 inches below the navel and somewhere close to the spine. Imagine how the pit of the belly goes in and up, in and up, in and up, and allows and gives that internal support for the spine to grow. The sitting bones are still connected to earth, and the pit of the belly allows the spine to grow. So one part of you is connected into earth, and the other one is rising up towards the sky. Maybe place the fingers on the crown of your head. And on every exhale, notice how you get a little taller. And then maybe imagine how you drop down to midbrain, third eye. And from that place in you, maybe observe your thoughts and feelings. From that place, from the third eye in you, maybe observe your thoughts and feelings. And then place your hands on your knees and then starting the cat-cow movement, waking up the spine, the physical spine and the spiritual spine, staying limber and flexible. Maybe allow the breath and the body to work together as a team. Inhale on your back bend, exhale and round. Inhale into a back bend, exhale and round. Follow your own breath. And then finding your way back to neutral. Okay, look at your hands. Really look at your hands. And just imagine all those years, all those weeks, all those hours that these hands have helped you, been with you. And then blinking, bubbling stars, open and close the fingers all the way up. Clasp the hands, turn them over, straighten your elbows. Breathe. Maybe breathe in through the nose and out through your mouth. And then reach and reach and reach and notice how the skin is stretching, the rib cage is opening up, and the lungs are expanding. And then reach and turn, let the arms go wide, fingertips are moving away from each other. Look behind you, breathe. So thinking about the anger, hatred, love, and compassion that Dalai Lama talked about, maybe think about past situations where you felt those emotions. What happened? And then release. Lift the shoulders and release a few times. And then look at your hands. And maybe these hands have taken action, sometimes in anger, sometimes in hatred, sometimes in love, and sometimes in compassion. So we can take a lot of actions. Some are better than others. Clasp the hands, turn them over, straighten the elbows, breathe. If you want to, you can make your mouth into like a little beak, or even curl the the tongue. That's a cooling breath. So breathe into the nose and breathe out through the tongue. It's called a cooling breath. Could be helpful when it's 90 degrees. And then reach and reach and reach and reach. And then reach both hands, turn to the other side, let the arms go wide, look behind you. And maybe start with yourself. Maybe think about or acknowledge that sometimes you take actions out of anger and hate. And then release. Lift the shoulders a few times. Okay. And then look at your hand and maybe start with anger and hate. So when we take actions, or when you take an action from a place of anger and hate, what does that look like? So pick some colors and draw that picture. What does that look like? When you take actions from a place of anger and hate, what does that look like? What colors are you using? Yeah, what does it look like? Really look at that picture. And then release it. And then let's go to love and compassion. So when you take actions based from a place of love and compassion, what does that look like? So pick some colors and then draw that picture. And how is that picture different from the first one? How are the colors different? And this is how we develop empathy. I don't have to agree with your action. Your action can still be unacceptable, but I can empathize with the emotion. I also take actions from a place of anger, hate, love, and compassion. Okay, now arms up in cactus. So just knowing that we all can take actions from place of anger, hate, love, and compassion, but we are training our minds and our hands to do better. We want to do better. And then maybe reach forward, swim backwards. And then let the knee and elbow connect, knee and elbow connect. And then crossing the midline. And then let's have one knee and elbow connect and stay there. Stay there. Observing, feel it. Maybe there's a part of you who wants to, like this is maybe, you feel it in your muscles and you want to give up and just stay a little bit longer. And then release, and then try the other side. Breathe. Feel the work you're doing. Notice when you want to give up. And then stay a little longer. This is when we start building strength. Okay, and let's try both. Bringing both knees up, both knees out. Breathe. Feel it. Acknowledge that this might be a little uncomfortable. Breathe. Stay a little longer, a little longer. And then release down. Okay, bring the feet wider than the mat, a wide and stable stance. So with a wide and stable stance, we can explore. We can, to build empathy, I need to go into that anger and hate in me and explore it. And when I can do that with me, I can have a better understanding of you. And I can go deep into the part of me that's love and compassion, and therefore understand you better when you come from love and compassion. So with a wide and stable stance, we can go further and explore, and therefore understand each other better. So exploring it, knowing that we all have places of anger, hatred, love, and compassion. And at least I'm trying to act more from a place of love and compassion, and less from a place of anger and hate. That's my journey. And some days I'm more successful than others. And then exploring all the other emotions. And there's so many more emotions than anger, hatred, love, and compassion. Okay, coming back to neutral. And then imagine how you're jumping your feet together, landing in Tadasana. And then look at your toes. Now imagine that your toes are like pens. And then take some ink and then write a story from the perspective of anger and hate. So write a story based in anger and hate. What would that story, what would it be like to listen to that story? If I listened to a story written from the perspective of anger and hate, what would that sound like? And then step out wide, elbows to knees, fingertips together, breathe. And then release the hands down, let the head be heavy. Inhale, come back up, and then place that foot on the knee. Use your fingers to open up the toes. Open up the toes. Gently guiding that knee out wide, seated pigeon. And then slide the knees together. Whatever leg is on top, that arm goes under. Give yourself a hug. Breathe into the hands. And then find your version of eagle. Maybe bring that foot behind. Palms of the hands are touching. Hands are moving away from the forehead. You're looking up with your eyes. The chin is still tucked. Maybe the fingertips are moving up towards the sky. Breathe. And then release the arms up high. Let your wings spread and then land on the next mountain top. Look at your toes. Imagine that they are like pens. Put some ink on the toes. Put some ink. And then write a story from the perspective of love and compassion. So write another story from the perspective of love and compassion. How would it feel to listen to that story? And then step out wide, elbows to knees, fingertips together, lengthen the spine. Breathe. And then place the left hand on the floor with right hand on the right knee. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, look up towards the sky and push into both hands to come a little deeper into the twisting motion. And then release down. Inhale, come back up, elbows to knees, fingertips together, lengthen the spine. Breathe. And then place the right hand on the floor, left hand on the left knee. Inhale to lengthen, exhale, look up towards the sky and push into your hands. And then release down. Inhale, come back up. And then place the left foot on the right knee. Use your fingers to open up the toes. Gently guiding that knee out wide. And then sliding the knees together, whatever leg is on top, that arm goes under. Give yourself a hug. Breathe into your hands. Notice how the lungs are expanding on every inhale. And then finding your version of eagle. Hands move away from your forehead. You can look up with your eyes, fingertips, or like you can imagine your hands like the feathers. And allow those feathers to reach up towards the sky, spread your wings, and then land on the next mountain top. Okay, now look at your fingers again, blinking, bubbling stars all the way up. Clasp the hands, turn them over, straighten the elbows. Breathe. Now imagine your arms like wings and hands like feathers. Release them out wide, 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 wide. And then go out flying. Flying just like a big bird up in the sky. And then turn your palms up. And then forward and dive. Inhale, turn the palms up. Exhale, dive. Inhale, up. Exhale, dive. And this time, bring the arms behind you, holding on to opposite forearms. And then stay there. Now, feel those wings. Feel those wings. And imagine all the hours that they've been flying around with you. And they are a little sore. They're a little sore. Imagine that your breath is healing water, healing holy water. And you can use that breath and bring it to any place that feels sore and needs some extra care. So treating yourself to self-love and self-compassion. Using your own breath to heal whatever needs to be healed. Feel it, bring the breath there, allow it to heal. And then release one arm, shake it out, bring it up and place it behind your heart. And then do the same thing with the other. Feel the connection between your palms and the back of your heart. And then release. Okay, building strength in the legs. Pick a number. I'm going to pick 12 today. And then come up and then start it. So 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0. Shake it out. Pick another number or the same number. I'm going to pick 9. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0. Shake it out and then transfer the weight forward, up, and then stay standing. Okay, blinking, bubbling stars all the way up. Clasp the hands, turn them over, straighten the elbows, breathe. And then reach and reach and reach and allow the weight to move from one foot to the other. And then let the arms go. Let the arms go. And then bend the knees and really let the arms go. And you can leave the mat. You don't have to stay on the mat. You can leave the mat. And then knee to elbow. crossing the midline. And then finding position of power. Position of power. Feel your own power. Feel the power of choice. You have a choice to act from hate, anger, love, or compassion. You have a choice. And then lifting the legs out to the side. And then lean and lift. Lean and lift. Breathe. And then lean and lift to the other side. And then take action. Take action. At some point, we have to take action, hopefully from a place of love and compassion. Then world peace is around the corner. Okay, now open and close the fingers, spread the fingers. Now, let's push anger and hatred away. So let's push anger and hatred away. Push it away, push it away, push it away. And it's going to try to sneak back in. It's going to be really hard to resist it. And we're going to push it away, push it away, push it away. And we're going to kick it away. We're going to keep that anger and hatred away. And we're going to create space for love and compassion. Release and then allow love and compassion to take its place. Okay, 3 sound salutations. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, up and over. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale all the way back up. Exhale down the midline. That was 1. 2 more. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, up and over. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale all the way back up. Exhale down the midline. That was 2. 1 more. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, up and over. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale all the way back up. Exhale down the midline. And then stay there, holding your own heart in between your hands with self-love and self-compassion. And release. Okay, big toes to touch, heels slightly apart. We're going to step back to warrior 1. Inhale to chair, exhale to Anjali Mudra. Transfer the weight to the left, the right heel comes off. Take a big step back, find the earth behind you with the toes and then the heel. Making sure that both hip bones are pointing forward. So pointing forward, and when I have that, I can bring the arms off the chair and come up. Add some blinking, bubbling stars. Place your hands in your back pocket and then stay here. Elbows are moving towards each other. Bring your awareness to your heart space. Transfer the weight forward. Pick up that back foot. Look at the toes. Toes are pointing down. The opposite hand comes off. Stay here. Or maybe add some movement. Or take the bind. Your choice. And then release back with the toes together and come back up to standing. Let's try the other side. Inhale to chair, exhale to Anjali Mudra. Transfer the weight to the right, left heel comes off. Take a big step back, find the earth behind you with the toes and then the heel. Making sure that both hip bones are pointing forward. So shoulders, hips, everything is pointing forward. When you have that, release the hands and come up to standing. Everything is pointing forward. Add some blinking, bubbling stars. Place your hands in your back pockets, elbows move together. Bring awareness to your heart space. Can you feel the anger? Can you feel the hate? Can you feel the love? Can you feel the compassion? If you can feel all four, you can make a choice. Transfer the weight forward, pick up that back foot. The toes are pointing down. The opposite hand comes off. Maybe add movement. Maybe take the bind. And then release the feet back together, bend the knees, and come back up to standing. Okay, inhale to chair, exhale to Anjali Mudra. Transfer the weight to the left, right heel comes off. Take a big step back. This time we open up the pelvic halves, open up, finding warrior two. One arm in the past and the other one in the future. Flip the hand, reverse. And then move all the way forward for a extended side angle. Inhale, come back up to warrior two. Hands on your hips, straighten that front knee. Release the hand down or to the chair. Maybe bring the gaze up towards the sky. Maybe let that arm reach up too. Hand comes down, gaze comes down, rebend that front knee, finding warrior two one more time. And then place your hands on the chair, pick up that back foot, look at the toes. And maybe take the same hand off, same hand off. Hand comes down, gaze comes down, feet together. Bend the knees and come back up to standing. The other side. Inhale to chair, exhale to Anjali Mudra. Transfer the weight to the right, left heel comes off. Take a big step back, open up the pelvic halves. One arm in the past, the other one in the future, and you are right here in the present moment. Flip the front hand and reverse the warrior. And then move through warrior two into extended side angle using the chair or your knee, your choice. And then find your way back to warrior two. Hands on your hips, straighten the front knee, release the hand down for Trikonasana. Maybe bring the gaze up towards the sky. Maybe let that same arm come up. Hand comes down, gaze comes down, rebend that front knee, finding warrior two one more time. Hand on the chair, pick up the back foot, look at the toes. And then maybe take the hand off the chair. Hand comes down, gaze comes down, feet together, bend the knees and come back up to standing. Okay, starting on top of the mountain in mountain posture, spreading the toes, big toes to touch, heels slightly apart. Feel your strength, feel the stability here. Transfer the weight to the left, the right. You can, if you want to, you can place your fingers on your hip bones. So we want the hip bones to stay where they are right now. So they're going to stay there. Transfer the weight to the left, bring the right heel off, and the hip bones stay leveled. Now, if you want to, you can move into tree posture from there. And your tree could start in a traditional tree and then turn into something else. You choose, you decide. And then eventually finding your way back into Tadasana. Use your fingers, find the two hip bones. Stand up tall. Transfer the weight to the right, the left heel comes off and the hip bones don't change. And then from here, if you want to, you can start with a traditional tree posture. You can stay here, or you can move in to a different balancing posture. And then eventually finding your way back into Tadasana. All right. Feet wider than your hips, spread the toes. We're going to create that triangle with 4 corners. So the feet are wide and then the knees are a little closer and the top of the triangle would be here. Now just stay there for a moment, allow the toes to open up. Look at your thumb, pick a color, draw a big circle and give that heel a little dot. Look at your other thumb, pick a color, draw a big circle and give that heel a little dot. Look at both thumbs. Draw 2 big circles and this time place your hands in your back pockets. Allow the hips to move forward and the elbows to move closer to each other. The chin is slightly tucked. You can look up with your eyes. And then release. Untuck the toes, let the knees go wide, big toes to touch. And then release the hips towards the heels, finding child's posture. And then inhale, come back up. Clasp the hands. Create that triangle. Tuck the toes. Lean into your support. Lift the legs off or knees off. Finding dolphin. Head is heavy. And then bend the knees and come back up to standing. All right. And then moving to the second part, the seated meditation. Listen to Dalai Lama again. The way to examine how thoughts and emotions arise in us is through introspection. It is quite natural for many thoughts and emotions to arise. When we leave them unexamined and untamed, this leads to untold problems, crisis, suffering, and misery. This is why we need to adopt the conscious discipline we spoke of earlier. In order to reduce the power of a negative emotion like anger or hatred, we need to encourage its antidote, which is love and compassion. So in meditation, we can sit here and do exactly what he's asking us to do. Just watch our thoughts and emotions. That's a very good step. Okay, so let's try that. So sitting up tall, find your breath. And we're going to do this for about 8 minutes. So I'll be quiet now. Okay, here we go. 8 minutes. Wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, move your head from side to side. Take a deep breath in. Let it go. Open your eyes. Place your hands in Anjali Mudra, holding your own heart in between your hands with love and compassion. Thank you, inner guides, your past, present, and future teachers, and all the people that are joining your journey. Open your eyes, raise your gaze, and thank you so much for practicing together again and again and again and again. Namaste.